Good morning. Thanks for joining us. It was warm out there yesterday, dare I say, pretty late spring and almost summer-like temperatures in the 80s area wide. We got to 86 degrees in Springfield, 88 up at Lake of the Ozarks, and 82 in Branson. That high of 86 degrees yesterday in Springfield flirted with the record of 89 from 1972. We didn't break it, but we got pretty close, and we were 20 degrees above our average, the warmest day since October. Now, we've been warm, we've been windy, ahead of a strong cold front. We're still windy. We've got a wind advisory that's going to continue until 1 o'clock this afternoon for Springfield and points west. That's where we're seeing some gusty winds right now and could continue to see some gusty winds through the first part of the afternoon. Hazards with this, did you want to tie down any loose objects? You might feel the wind on the car and the highways, things like that. Winds right now are sustained out of the south at 20 miles per hour. We're seeing gusts 20 to 30 to 40 miles per hour, almost a 40-mile-per-hour gust in Joplin right now. Temperatures incredibly warm for an April start. It's 67 degrees in Springfield, 66 in Branson, and 65 in Rolla. There's our storm. We're starting to see it really deepen and come together on the water vapor image. You can see it right there trying to come together to our west, and this storm is just so large. It is impacting us from border to border, from Canada to Mexico. We've got concerns for very dry air and gusty winds. The pinks and the yellows here are those high wind warnings and red flag warnings. And then up here in the orange, that's a blizzard warning. So while we're concerned about severe weather, this storm is going to be dumping heavy snow and blizzard conditions for the northern plains. So again, very complex system that we are dealing with today. Again, locally, our threat with this is severe weather for today. We've got an enhanced risk for severe weather for much of the area today. It does include Springfield, Branson, Harrison, points west. A little bit of a slight risk up around Rolla and Salem. The difference between the two is number and intensity of storms. We do expect storms to kind of weaken some as they head east or become fewer and farther between. Now, we've got a couple of different things going on with this today. We'll have two areas of storms to watch. One that will start to pop in Arkansas and then come up into south central Missouri. That probably happened ahead of the front a little bit earlier on today in the afternoon, and we could have some isolated severe weather with that. This along the cold front and dry line, that's where we could pop some of the stronger storms, but we might have some dry air that tries to stop these storms from intensifying or stop them from developing. So we got to see how strong do they get, how much instability, how much wind does it get to punch through that dry air. If it punches through the dry air, we could have some strong storms on our hands. If it doesn't, then we could have a more isolated threat. So again, it's still a fluid forecast, and we're still keeping an eye on this very closely. As far as timeline goes for today, morning a low threat. The afternoon and evening is really our prime time to see some of these strong storms, especially the second half of this afternoon timeline. Overnight, it does look like that threat will dwindle, although there is some data that's suggesting it might linger into this timeline. So again, we're keeping an eye out for that. Threats, mainly a wind and hail threat. We could see winds up to 70 miles per hour, hail up to baseball size today, again, which is very large. The tornado threat is low but not zero. Again, keeping an eye on it for some isolated brief tornadoes. Again, what to expect that afternoon and evening timeline. Areas to watch: storms firing in Arkansas and Oklahoma, and then pushing into the area. All modes of severe weather possible, and we're expecting this to kind of dwindle overnight. Again, hour by hour, we've got pretty quiet conditions until noon. Here's that area starting to pop in Arkansas, pushing up into Missouri. There's that dry line. You see these storms starting to pop in Oklahoma and Kansas. Also notice how very widely scattered this is. Not everyone will see rain, not everyone will see severe weather, which also makes this forecast a little interesting. We'll keep some of this threat through the evening, and then again, hopefully by midnight, we'll start to really see this clear, and then temperatures will tumble. Rain forecast will be heaviest for areas south and east of the interstate and in those stronger thunderstorms. By the way, this weekend that low gets stuck up there, so we continue to wrap around clouds, chilly air, and gusty winds. Much colder this weekend. 77 today. Please stay weather aware. 45 overnight. Those storms should end. 52 tomorrow. Breezy, much cooler. Yes, we do have a chance for some flurries this weekend. Only 44 on Sunday. Much quieter weather next week.